Alright, it's time to not be crooked. Hold on. No, it's more. Alright, now it's time for one of my favorite episodes of the show. One of my favorites of season 1 at least. Butch Comes to Shove, which is an episode that, it's the first episode that we get a callback to a movie. And, excuse me. And it's the, so what it is Tommy and Martin get detention because Tim and Travis, TNT, they are picking on Martin again, trying to stretch him like a wishbone, trying to kill the guy. Tommy turns into the Wolfman and takes him out. And this is the first sense that we get that he turns into a Wolfman and is able to turn it off right away, whereas in the pilot episode, he couldn't turn it off right away, which, you know, but he turns it off almost right away, and then Martin takes the blame for it. He's like, yeah, dude, you messed with 150 pounds of goth stud or whatever. And Hugo's like, well, I do enjoy interrogation process, but a confession does work. Detention for you. And then as Martin's like, yeah, don't pick on poor Tim. Tommy's like, don't pick on poor Tim and Travis. He's chewing gum, which I never got the whole hate for teachers. Like, you can't chew gum in class. What is the big problem with chewing gum in school? I never got the hate for that when I was growing up. It was like the ultimate no. Like, for a kid smoking in school and doing drugs, no gum. Do you think that's like the least offensive thing you could do is chew gum? But there was like all that war on gum in school. And Tommy gets detention for it. I don't think anyone ever got detention for it, but because he swallows the gum, which you're not supposed to do because it takes forever to digest that. But so they get detention, and in this detention, Hugo shows them one of the old 50s style films where, like, this is Butch. Butch is a bad seed. See all the bad things come to bad people. That sort of thing. But Hugo falls asleep, so Tommy and Martin ditch detention, which I feel like they still get in trouble for that, but they don't. So they can go hang out at the factory and stuff. And so then Butch decides, I can't hang out in this movie anymore, and he just leaves the movie. He just walks out and he gives a little, like when he does the and gives a double wet willy to Hugo, and Hugo's like, kiss me again, mother. Butch is a very 50s style bully. He's got slick back hair. He's wearing a sort of leather jacket. It's a red jacket that's supposed to be a leather jacket. Maybe they didn't want to, because they had Happy Days had to fight for the Fonz to wear a leather jacket because the network censors didn't find it appropriate to wear a leather jacket. So he was wearing a gabardine windbreaker. And then, so they came to a compromise where they told Gary Marshall, hey, the Fonz can wear his leather jacket as long as he's on his motorcycle. So Gary Marshall said to the writers, hey, let the Fonz always be on his motorcycle. So the motorcycle was basically everywhere, and he just wore the leather jacket. And that gabardine windbreaker was thrown in the trash in the back lot of the studio they were filming in. The leather jacket that Fonzie wore is now in the Smithsonian Institute, along with one of Richie's cardigan sweaters, and that is the absolute truth. So, goes a long way. And that's a little detour in this episode. But, he just has like a red, I think it's supposed to be a red leather jacket, but, his signature, he trips someone and goes, have a nice trip, bucko. But he gets out, we get the opening credits, and then, the opening credits were already happened because they're playing video games, which is a weird start. The episode, the cold open has nothing to do with the episode, whereas usually you have a cliffhanger leading to the beginning of the episode, but it's just them playing video games. Tommy wolfs out, scares Martin, and then goes into the title sequence. So Butch's plan is to leave the movie, go into the real world, and bring someone back, a girl, back into the movie with him. And who do you think he picks? Stacy. That's right, Stacy, because there's no other attractive women in the school. There probably is, but it's got to be Stacy for Tommy to want to come after him. And so there's a plot point in this episode. They're trying to save this old Rialto theater. Stacy is trying to get names signed, and I feel like there's a problem with this. So Stacy's trying to get names signed. When she sees Butch, she does this whole, because I'm going to try to woo him with my charm. And so Butch signs it. Tommy signs it earlier, but he wants to demolish it so he can put this new multiplex with the video games and stuff. But he helps save it, I guess. The mayor and they have this whole thing in the beginning with the mayor and Dean, where they're going back and forth because Dean wants to demolish it so they can more cable networks. I don't know. I don't know what his counterpoint is supposed to be. But Dean, you ignorant slut. Anyway, SNL reference there. So obviously Butch starts hitting on Stacy, and they see him and like, this guy. Tommy's of course ain't mad because some guy's hitting on Stacy who they have a thing with, and this isn't all Butch's fault because Stacy takes a date with the guy when her and Tommy are sort of a thing. This is the third episode. He hasn't really given cause. As the episodes in season 1 go on, there is more, oh, you keep ditching me and I keep giving you chances sort of thing, which kind of repeats way too much. But they do throw a curveball in it towards the end of the season. But, Eric the Arm. Anyway, the Arm? No, that's later. So they go out to the factory, which is the only place in town you can have a date, I guess. And they have, you want a vanilla or chocolate milkshake? The answer is strawberry. So he gives a chocolate one. She's like, I can't do it. I can't relax until I get more names signed. So he writes fake names on this thing. We later find out that the Rialto was saved thanks to Stacy's petition. She cheated because he wrote fake names on it. That's how it worked. No. He's like, hey, come to the Rialto with me tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Or tonight, 8 o'clock, whatever. I got a special movie I want to show you. So, they have figured out that Butch came from the movie. They go to talk to Mary, who's the girl in the video. There's another nerd character that doesn't really have much lines, although he does something funny later. And then the narrator guy. And they say, you have to get Butch back in here and everything. And so Tommy goes to talk to Stacy, and she just sees that he's jealous. And Merton goes to get the reel, the video, the reel that it's on, because it's on a reel. And here's the big problem with the episode. It's one of my favorite episodes, but Merton gets the reel, and Butch goes to look for it. Merton decides that the best course of action would be to taunt Butch, who is taller and stronger than him, with a, hey, looking for this? And Butch just pushes him back, takes it from him, and leaves. And he even says, you had to gloat. Merton, you could have just taken off. Tommy shows up at the lair and says, so Stacy's meeting him at the Rialto at 8. And he's like, Merton's like, it's 7:30. We should go. And he's like, Tommy's like, well, you can't do anything without the tape, right? And he's like, without the movie, right? He's like, it's Merton's fault. It's Merton's fault. He taunted. He shouldn't have taunted. So they decide, I do like it because Tommy's like, and he takes off. Merton's like, I should go too. And so they get to the Rialto, and Butch has, I forgot to mention, when Tommy is asking what's going on, we get the first instance of this happened in a movie where they reference the Purple Rose of Cairo, and he's like, what happened? Or like Cadney snubbed it. It was a whole political thing. He's like, no, in the movie, a character from a movie came into the real world, and yeah, basically what it was. It's in the movie. So you go to the Rialto, and Butch was like, hey, Mary, this is Stacy. She's going to be with us. He's like, what? And he's like, well, remember I said I could put you in pictures? Well, what I didn't say was it's permanent. And so tries to take her in there, and she runs off. As he tries to chase after her, Tommy trips him and goes, "Have a nice trip, Bucko," which Merton then says again. And it's like, yeah, you need to say it twice. Even Tommy goes, like, "Merton." And then, so as Merton's gloating again about who he is, I'm his friend, his compadre. Butch grabs him. He's like, "Oh, careful with the neck." And this starts out as a fight. And then they get the idea for Mary to seduce him back into the picture. She's like, "Hey, Mary, she's a nice girl." "Yeah, but she's not the same, blah, 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 blah." And he's like, and Mary's like, "Hey, Butch, if you come back in, I'll let you get the second base." And the nerd guy behind him goes, like, "No." And so he gets back in. It's really weird because she's like in a close-up on there, and he just gets in, he's like this, and he's like a regular size, and then he goes in, and he gets in trouble, and gets pulled away, and yeah. And then she offers the phone number to Tommy. She's a fictional character in the movie, so I don't think that phone number would work, but Merton writes it down on his hand, which Stacy did earlier. But yes, and so there are some changes in the movie world as Mary's now making out with the geeky dude. But in our world, earlier Butch started doing the twist and that. So they're doing the twist and they're drinking malts, and it's vanilla, which Stacy says is her favorite flavor. And if vanilla is your favorite flavor, you haven't tasted any other flavor other than vanilla. Whose favorite flavor is vanilla besides Vanilla Ice? I'm sorry, vanilla's good, but it can't be anyone's favorite flavor. But yeah, it's the end of the episode. And yes, Butch, one of my favorite villains. This is not be the last time we would see Butch. He comes back in season 2, late in season 2 actually, but he comes back, so we will see him again on the show. But yeah, this is one of my favorites. Butch is one of my favorite characters, and I guess I'll talk more about what I thought should have happened with Butch after we get to the second episode, because he's only 2 episodes, but he's one of the only. There's a few villains that recur that have more than one episode. There's Butch, Werewolf Syndicate, and like a bounty hunter towards the end of the series. But yeah, that's about it. All the other ones are one-offs. But yeah, this is one of the better episodes of season 1. Gotta keep going. So what are your thoughts on Butch Comes to Shove episode of Big Wolf on Campus? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.